Hi, it's 1010 the Navigator, and today I'm going to be reading the 2022 Anunnaki Code, The End of the World and Their Return to Earth by Maximilien de Lafayette. This is chapter 27, which is about the Anunnaki Code predictions and revelations. So the question is, what is the Anunnaki Code? The Anunnaki Code is an effective tool to foresee forthcoming events in the immediate and long-term future. The expression or term foreseeing is never used in the Anunnaki language and by extraterrestrials because they don't foresee and predict. They just calculate and formulate. In spatial terms, they don't even measure things in distances because time and space do not exist as two separate presences in their dimensions. However, on Nibiru, Anunnaki are fully aware of all these variations and the human concept of time and space and have the capacity of separating time and space and or combining them into one single dimension or one single frame of existence. Anunnaki understand time differently from us. For instance, on Nibiru, there are no clocks and no watches. They are useless. Then you might ask, so how do they measure time? How do they know what time it is? Now or after 10 minutes or in 1 hour from now? The answer is simple. If you don't need time, you don't need to measure it. However, on Nibiru, Anunnaki experience time and space as we do on Earth, and they do measure objects, substances, distances, and locations as we do on Earth, but they rarely do. The Anunnaki, in addition to the Nordics and Lyrans, are the only known extraterrestrials in the universe to look like humans, and in many instances, they share several similarities with the human race. This psychosomatic resemblance explains, to a certain degree, the reason for Anunnaki to use time. To calculate and formulate information and to acquire data, Anunnaki consult the code screen. Consulting the screen means reading event sequences. Every single event in the cosmos in any dimension has a code. Call it for now a number. Nothing happens in the universe without a reason. The universe has its own logic that the human mind cannot understand. In many instances, the logic of numbers dictates and creates events. And not all created events are understood by the extraterrestrials. This is why they resort to the code screen. Activation of the code screen. Activating the code requires two actions or procedures. One, preparing the grid. This demands clearing all the previous data stored in the pockets of the net. Net resembles SpaceNet as used by quantum physics scientists. They do, in fact, compare space to the net. According to their theories, the net, as the landscape of time and space bends under the weight of the ball rotating at a maximum speed. The centrifugal effect produced by the ball alters the shape of the net and consequently the fabric of space. And by altering space, time changes automatically. And as time changes, speed and distances change simultaneously. Same principle applies to stretching and cleaning up the net of the screen containing a multitude of codes of the Anunnaki. Pockets means the exact dimension in a space an object occupies on the universe net or landscape. No more than one object or one substance occupies one single pocket. This is, by Earth standard, the human level of knowledge. In other parallel words, more than one object or substance can be infused in one single pocket, but this could lead to loss of memory. Yes, objects and substances have memory too, just like human beings. Some are called A, space memory, B, time memory, C, string memory, D, astral memory, E, mental memory. The list is endless. Thus, all the pockets containing previous data are cleared, and now they are ready to absorb and store new data. How do they clear the data? I have no clue. And no one on the human no human on the face of the earth knows. 2, feeding the pockets, retrieving data. All sorts and sizes of data are retrieved and stored through the conduit. The conduit is electroplasmic substance implemented into the cells of the brain. I am not going to repeat the lengthy description of the characteristics and properties of the conduit. Please refer to my book, Anunnaki Encyclopedia. 3, viewing the data. Retrieved data and information are viewed through the Myria, also called cosmic mirror. Some refer to it as Akashic records. It is not. In-depth description of the Myria is provided in the book Anunnaki Encyclopedia. 4, revisiting the past. Can the Anunnaki revisit the past? In other words, can they travel back in time? The answer is yes. This concept might seem absurd to many, but quantum physics professors and theorists have already explained this in papers they have published. And once again, let me remind you that I have explained the phenomenon of going back in time in the Anunnaki Encyclopedia. 5, going forward in the future. Can the Anunnaki go forward in time and meet with the future? Yes, they can. And Ulma told me that the future events have already happened at some level and in some spheres. It's just a matter of a waiting period for the mind to see it. 6, did the Anunnaki predict anything? Yes, they did. But please remember, the Anunnaki do not predict. They just see the future as briefly explained before. The book, Anunnaki Encyclopedia, listed some of their predictions. Here are some of the excerpts from their book. 2034 AD. The secret code of the Bible will be revealed. Part of the code will be used to predict the future. Humanity will finally know the true identity of Yeshua, Moshe, and Muhammad. The original voice of Jesus in Aramaic, several biblical figures and greatest personages in our history will be found and recorded on the memory screen, replacing tapes and CDs. 2031 to 2033 AD. Humans will have spatial, galactic, extrasensorial facilities, implants, and electromagnetic telepathy will be developed, thus reducing time and space limitations. Many will be able to revisit the past and foresee the immediate future. 2029 AD. Several American bases will be created on Mars and the Moon. The Americans will reverse the anti-gravity laws. Several stargates will fill our skies and become fully operational and totally controlled by American scientists. Humans will be able to store their memory on a computer chip. Cinema will become three-dimensionally animated. American, Russian, and French astrophysicists and scientists will discover and recapture voices and sounds from humanity's past, going back to the dawn of creation. 2028 AD. The Vatican becomes an icon of the past. Life expectancy in the United States will become 130 years. Americans will conquer many diseases, to name a few: AIDS, cancer, Alzheimer's, thanks to new technology and very advanced scientific knowledge gained from extraterrestrials. Official extraterrestrial embassies and delegations will be established on Earth. 2027 to 2026 AD. By November 2026, the United States will resurface as a major key player in the world's affairs and regain its universal leadership. The American dollar will have a facelift. Puerto Rico becomes a major spatial base for extraterrestrial. Many extraterrestrial bases will be created on Earth, the majority in the United States. By the end of 2017, the United States will emerge as the absolute and ultimate power on Earth and will intensify its cooperation with several extraterrestrial civilizations. This will lead to the creation of a new extraterrestrial-terrestrial lexicon on Earth. 2026 AD. A new powerful and global religion will be established on Earth, created by new scientific development and direct contact with extraterrestrial civilizations. Many will convert to this new religion, except the Muslims. Islam, in the form of extraterrestrial spiritual religion, will become the two major religions on the earth. Islamabad will be declared the official capital of Islam on earth. The United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, and Saudi Arabia will fall in the hands of the World Islamic Council controlled by Pakistan. India will lose Kashmir. 2025 AD, Afro-Americans become the majority in the United States. Islam will unify all Muslim countries, and several Islamic countries will acquire the atomic bomb. Muslims in Europe will constitute 72% of the French population, 64% of the Scandinavian countries, and 91% of the African continent. A major military confrontation between Muslim countries and Israel will decimate many countries on the globe. Tibet will become an independent country. A military alliance between Pakistan, Malaysia, Indonesia, and 29 Muslim countries will shift the world's military, nuclear, commerce, and peace balance. England will be totally alienated in Europe. However, by the end of 2025, England will regain global influence. Lebanon will be fully absorbed by Islam, and a major Christian Lebanese exodus will begin. Many will settle in Canada, Brazil, and France. Malta will play a major role on the top of the world's affairs. Malta will play a major role on the map of the world's affairs. The Anunnaki will interfere to put an end to the humans' madness. 2022 AD, threat to humanity. 2022 AD, September. The higher council of the Anunnaki learned that the aliens intend to attack Earth on a massive scale by 2022. A major confrontation with aliens will happen in September 2022. The consequences are not totally clear nor predictable. However, extraordinary events will occur, including global ecological changes, extraordinary advance in medicine, a global unified monetary system that will unite the markets of 125 countries, but the United States will refuse to take part in it. And this refusal could lead to the collapse of the American financial influence worldwide and force Americans' banks, branches abroad to go out of business. The American dollar is no longer a hard currency, but the United States will remain a superpower with global influence. And this concludes chapter 27.